I had put together a Devo some time ago, and it had to do with winning Christians. And after Brother Dave's class, after the seminar, I thought, there's nothing else I can say on this. So I revised it a little bit. And I'd like to tell you a story. I want to tell you about the Hedge family. My grandfather was raised in Arkansas, and he had 3 sons, and his wife passed away. And it was in 1918 during the Spanish flu. So he continued with the 3 sons, and I've never been able to find out if they even went to church. But he did marry another lady later, and her husband had died from the flu also. She had 1 son and 1 daughter, and they were strong Baptists. So they were going to church, and I had one of my grandfather's sons, Uncle Slim. He had been going to church with them, and one Sunday he got there, and they said, okay, we got a bunch of baptisms we're going to do. And he said, let's vote on it if we can do this. He stood up and he said, where does it say in here you vote on this? So the next Sunday, they met him at the door and would not let him in. So he started searching for a church to go to where it had the Word of God. And he came to the Church of Christ. He went home and he told his father, and he started going. And Grandpa was baptized. Grandpa was baptized 3 times. And I once asked him, I said, why did you get baptized 3 times? He said, I just want to make sure I had my mind right and I was doing what I needed to do and doing it right. I said, well, can't complain on that. I had an uncle, one of the other brothers, Uncle Norman. He owned a pool hall, and he was an alcoholic. And he was wild. And he was going along. Uncle Slim was talking with him, trying to get him straightened out. And one night he went home, came in drunk, and his wife hit him in the face with a wet diaper. And she said, you will quit drinking. So he quit, and after a week, it looked like he's going to die. He went to his doctor, and his doctor said, what's wrong? You're dying. He said, I've got to quit drinking, or I'm going to lose my wife. So he did. He got him to stop. Started going to church. Became a member of the church. He ended up going down close to Kennett, and he preached down there for over 10 years. The other brother, Uncle Peck, in World War II, got shot in the spine, paralyzed, and waist down. He would take and go to church. We would carry him up the steps. Finally built a ramp so we could roll him up. But he also was a member, and he did some preaching. And he would go over to Curly's Ridge Academy in Paragould at the end of each school year and do sermons over there because we always had a bunch of sermons coming. All 3 of them became members. My grandmother's son and daughter both kept going to church through the Baptist church. Uncle Jim, he went because he married a Baptist, and he had to keep her happy. When she passed away, he went straight to the Church of Christ, became a member, and spent his last days down in Mississippi with his son, talking with the preacher, Brother Paul Sparks, down there, talking about bird hunting and the Bible. Grandma and Aunt Sarah never moved from Baptist church. They stayed there. But these 5 men, all of them, that was 4. The 5th was my father. Dad was about 15 years younger than the other boys. So he kind of just followed them around, but he went to Church of Christ, was baptized, and worked in the church. He's been an elder. He's preached. He's just very strong in the church. Out of the 5, all of them were baptized. 4 of them have passed away, and they were all very faithful in the church, all the way to the end. My dad, on June the 20th, he'll turn 96. On the 22nd, you go down to Jackson, Missouri, you go in the church house, you'll see him up front teaching a senior class. He'll be that way to the end. 100% that were baptized were faithful. 85% of that family were baptized. 100% that were baptized were faithful to the end. Then we get to the grandkids. Yeah. The grandkids, Grandpa had 17 grandchildren. Out of the 17, 11 were baptized. And out of the 11, only 7 are still faithful. And I don't know how we can win them back, and that's what I'm talking about. We've been studying winning new Christians. We need to hold on to the old Christians. If I look at the book that he had, it was showing that the population, Christian Church of Christ, I believe it was in 73, 2.5 million. Now it's like 1.1 million. Some of that is what we've lost, and some of it is what we haven't gained. But we need to hold on. And the problem that I see is it's hard to start somebody out that knows nothing about the Bible. But sometimes it's harder to tell somebody because they already know the Bible. They just don't want to accept it. But it's something we have to work on. Our elders have started the program of sending out cards, making phone calls, try to get people to come back in. Make sure they're coming. Don't let them get to that stop where they're gone, but get them in here. And I commend those men for that. It's a good program. I need to do more of it. I'd like if you would turn to the book of James. Brother Bruce is right. The book of James is great. It's my favorite. If you turn to the 5th chapter, 19th verse. Brethren, if anyone among you wanders from the truth, and someone turns him back, let him know that he who turns a sinner from the error of his way will save a soul from death and cover a multitude of sins. It says it all right there. We got to work. We got to keep them in there. In the grandchildren, 65% had been baptized, and now that 65%, only 65% of that is still faithful. The numbers is just dropping. If there's anybody here tonight who needs prayers of the church or needs to become an elder or a member, we ask that you come forward.